Not quite. 8 o'clock, maybe just a couple of seconds left.
Yeah. We're live on YouTube.
We are live on YouTube as well. All right. Nice. Good deal. Who's going to be first? Always looking to see who's going to come on first and give him a whistle as we go live, Wednesday Night Live. There he is. Taterman 74. You are number one. Good job, man. Thanks for joining. You're the first one. Let's see who else we can get on board here before we start rolling with the hippie tut. Good job.
They beat me getting in. Yeah, there. I said they beat me getting in.
I'm crazy cat lady. P. Martin 72. All aboard! Get my conductor shout out for everybody. User, a lot of numbers joined. Heather Shaw. Shoot for both of you. Infinite Rubbish. I love that name. Infinite Rubbish. Astral Understanding. That's a new one. I don't think I've noticed that before. Kalika Ta'amu. P. Martin says hi. Hi, buddy. D. King 3333. Austin 22731. Love all you guys. Thanks for joining. It is Wednesday night. That means we're going live at 8 o'clock, like always, in the Central Time Zone. Lobster con queso. I love that. Lobster con queso. Is that a nice dish? I know we have a beautiful Mexican seafood restaurant down the road. We like to get the crab. It's really good. They make mussels. Tasty. Boomboy 07. Thanks for joining. Cat KO8. Max Hill 59. Thanks for joining. The Bearded Skeptic. My guy. We were just talking about you. Get fucking videos taken down again, man. You were on those guys' shit list. Well done. When the Christians hate you as much as they hate that fucking guy, you know you're succeeding. But it's too bad to you like that? Thanks, man. That's the conductor hat. I start off being the conductor, and I welcome people on board. Country Girl 5169. Backjack. Not Blackjack. He's Backjack. But yeah, our guy, the Bearded Skeptic, go and hit his backup account, Bearded_Skeptic. I remember because I pay attention to shit. Andrew Whipke, thanks, man. Thanks for the hearts. Buddy Samurai too. Yeah, I know you're irritated. It would fucking drive me crazy too. If the Christians gang up on old boy, and he can't get any fucking momentum going until they just whack him again, and it like makes him itchy and grumpy, like a silverback in the woods when someone's threatening his females. And he has to fucking start a new account. So make sure you go and join his backup account so that he can keep it rolling, because whatever he's doing, he's shoving it up the Christians' asses. Mama Bear from Atheist Sanctuary, they are on board. Hi from California. Hey, what's up, California? Yeah, I know. And I don't even think anything you post is really all that offensive. It makes utter sense all the time. And Biddy Buddha, my girl is here. Love to see you. Thanks for the toot back, baby. If you haven't followed Biddy Buddha, then you're one of the 10 people on TikTok who doesn't. On Atheist TikTok anyway. She runs that shit, as our buddy Black Atheist Rants mentioned one time. She's awesome. Go join her and make sure you follow the Bearded Skeptic's new account, Bearded_Skeptic, and spread the word. I'm not very good at stitching and duetting, but if you can push his new channel, go for it. What do I think of the Trinity? I think the Trinity is a blatant attempt to cram the letter or the number 3 into Christianity. And it also arose out of the need for them to figure out a way to make Jesus divine without ruining monotheism. That's a thing. And ask my girl Biddy Buddha probably knows more about it than I do, or Captain Dadpool too. But they early in the first Nicene Council, they had to kind of lay down the law. Computer crime joined. Thanks, buddy. And tell everybody that no, Jesus is God. That's the way it is, and this is why, and this is how. So you need to follow, the rules and not try to pretend that Jesus was anything other than also divine. And there's all these arguments about like if God is divine, and he's made out of like God stuff that's not like the stuff that humans are made out of, and he had a son that's also divine. Well, did God give part of his divineness to that being? And if in doing so, did he become less divine? So literally there's all these arguments in the early church about how that was possible and how it happened. And when you think about it, it's like they're arguing about such bullshit. Like none of it made any kind of fucking sense at all. But you're an Arian Christian. Yeah, I know that the Trinity Arian was the guy. He didn't believe that Jesus was divine, and he was going around preaching that shit. And he got himself in trouble for it. So yeah, the Trinity to me, it's just made up shit to explain how Christianity was monotheistic and had 2 gods or 3 gods, and just kind of get the magic number 3, because numbers were real important in the in the early church, or in ancient times, numerology and magic numbers, and we see that how many times is 40 mentioned in the Bible for different shit. 3 is no different. So the Trinity is just obfuscation, really, and if it confuses you, it's meant to. Ketchup Doritos, what? Cool name, sounds nasty. Ketchup Doritos. Who likes ketchup, man? That's like for children. I don't know what it is with ketchup. Do you use ketchup on anything? Atheist Animated with me in the speaker. Are you there?
Yeah, man. I eat ketchup on whatever.
What?
Yeah, dude. Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? I don't know. Ketchup is for dry. If there's dry fries that are too dry and you don't have any vinegar, I'll eat some ketchup on fries. But man, I don't put ketchup on much of anything else. I was trained from a young age to disprove the Trinity. Yeah, that's the thing about the J-Dubs. They're not Trinitarians. And one of the cool things that actually one of the few cool things about the J-Dubs was it was a reformation of Christianity when it started, and they were trying to go back to the earlier, more fundamental, but less dissolved, less watered down, less weird tenets of Christianity, trying to get right back to what the early church was about. And I gotta fucking sort of think that deserves a little bit of respect in terms of at least if you're going to follow a doctrine, try to be real about it. But they quickly went off the rails, as we know. Oh, train joke. Yeah, and so the J-Dubs, the smart shit that they had going on quickly got lost in the bizarre cult-like atmosphere that it turned into. Hello, Keisha Hendricks 80. Love you, baby. The anonymous atheist here with us. Jesus greater than all else, says Seth Graham. No, not greater than my kids, not greater than good sex, not greater than a tasty meal, not greater than there's like a fucking zillion things that Jesus is not greater than. So thanks for the input, Seth. Tommy Dweeb joined. What's up, Dweeb? Who doesn't love the word dweeb? Any word that starts with DW, okay with me, as a language guy. X Dirt Cheap Chapel joins. Thanks, X Dirt Cheap X. I have to make compromises to stay at the Christian school I go to. I have to make compromises to stay at the Christian school I go to. Advice. James Scope 91. Not sure what that means, James. Maybe you can elaborate. You need. Why do you want to stay at the Christian school so bad? Is that like a college? You mean that it's your choice and you signed up to go there, but you're not a Christian? I'm not really sure what you're getting at there. One godless liberal joined. One godless liberal, that guy. Thanks for joining. Wes Coleman 1 joined. I saw where the FFRF is demanding that a school district in Texas revoke a $500,000 subsidy that it approved for a Christian summer camp. And this is what happens when fucking school districts, this is what they do when they're not looking. And it happens in Texas all the time, because it's like you can't even be in a Texas school system without being a Jesus freak. They make it obvious, and they wear it on their sleeves, and they don't care if nobody does anything about it. User a lot of numbers. What's up, man? Love you. Get under username so we can say it. You want to stay, but I have to compromise with the religious teachers to stay. Like, what kind of compromise? And why do you really want to stay? It doesn't matter if you don't want to say the name of the school. But what do you love about the school so bad that would make you, as an atheist, go to a Christian school? When did I figure out I was 100% atheist? Maybe 2021. I hung on to some spirituality after about age 17, when I knew Christian dogma was just shit, an unsustainable fucking myth arc that nobody with a brain could possibly justify or reason away. It's stupid. It doesn't hold up to the slightest scrutiny. But there was a minute there where I figured that there was some higher power. I had some minutes in college where I figured that there was some divine inside of us somehow, that and then that just went away. But so probably by the time I was 20, 21, I'd have to say. User another lot of numbers. What's with you guys, man? It's not that hard. Make up a username, even if it's something silly. We love to see them, and we love to say them. Hi, one godless liberal. Yep, I gave you a toot. Thanks for being here. I was talking about the school district there. They in Texas, we had a similar thing where the county, decided to give taxpayer money to a thing called Youth for Christ, and this is money that was allotted for a community grant, and Atheist Animated was the, he was lead on this because he found out about it. And this isn't even something that the people voted on and a bunch of Christians voted on, or even like the elected officials put into motion. This is something that happened behind the scenes, where bureaucrats at the county office are just going through, lists of what they can give money to, and they could have chosen any organization that might have had a group for autistic kids, say, or a group for disabled veterans, or a group for that any member of any religious group could possibly benefit from as a citizen paying taxes in that town. But they decided to give $100,000. Yeah, this is a little fucking town with like 90,000 people in it, and a county then with a country county attached to it. So what do you think, Jason? Maybe a couple 100,000 people total in Racine County, and they're like, let's give that money to Youth for Christ because that benefits everybody. Well, how the fuck does that benefit the Muslim family who's trying to send their kids to do something in the summer to keep them busy, and then they end up getting proselytized to by born again Christians who are trying to make them accept Jesus? It's fucking disgusting. This is what the government gets up to when you're not looking, when you're not paying attention. And again, it's not necessarily the elected officials or the voters. It's people who just have bureaucratic jobs whose job it is to apportion money out. So pay fucking attention. And here you FFRF is paying attention. Somebody probably wrote a letter and said that the school district is allotting $500,000 to $500,000 subsidy. I'm assuming this means school district, Tyler ISD, independent school district. I don't know, in Texas. That's what happens, man. When you're not looking, the Christian nationalists get up to their dirty, dirty work. Sanctified, sup? I'm going to give you a toot out, man. We love that you joined. Did you lose any friends when you told them you were atheist? No, I don't think I did, because I didn't have any friends. I had already offended the people that would have been probably in my group. And I was in theater, and none of those people are fucking Christians. None of them were hardcore Christians anyway. I'm trying to think if there's anybody in my life that I actually lost that I cared about that was close to me when I came out as atheist, and I can't think that there was.
Well, you talked about how your church was pretty relaxed. Was did they respond any different? I don't know if you had to tell them or not in any way, but
no, I was already gone from the church by the time that was, you know what I mean? I just sort of faded out of going to church by the time I was 17, 18, and my mom couldn't really make me go anymore. And I had drifted away from my friends for other reasons, my small town friends. I went to a private school and kind of got exposed to a culture that they didn't. So I ended up being a kind of an elitist, and kind of a snotty kid around my former friends who were small town farm people, and I had met all these sons of elite rich people from New York and Philadelphia who sent their kids to the private school I went to, and my eyes were open to a different world, a bigger world, culture, people from around the world, and I learned a lot about different religious ideas too, not just to mention culture. And so I was kind of a dick to my friends, so I didn't have those kind of friends very much anymore by the time I was actually an atheist. So long answer to a short question, I know, but I don't, my mom was bummed, but she's not the kind of person who would have disowned me for being an atheist. So thanks for sharing, dude, the live video. Correct on ISD. Thank you. Samara 1219. Blaze it like whatever it was. Thank you. Jamie Thiel. Thank you. Someone who went by. Thank you. All right. Pat Andrew. Thank you. Sarah Smith 606. Big Bank Boy. Kathy Kroner Misha, thanks everybody for joining. Really appreciate it. We do this every Wednesday at 8 o'clock in the Central Time Zone because we are here on the shores of beautiful Lake Michigan and its floating layer of grease and garbage. No, I'm just kidding. It's not really that bad. Sometimes, what happens sometimes, Jay, the alewives die en masse in Chicago. That's stinky when that happens. But here now they've cleaned it up pretty good. Hi, Sarah. 88 Sunshine 75. If I miss you, I'm sorry. If you didn't get a toot out, it's not because I don't like you.
We used to get, when the really bad rains came, where the Milwaukee would dump their sewage, I think, into the. I don't know if you remember that.
Something happens, yeah.
I think they fixed it, but that was pretty messed up for a while.
I miss the 70s every day, except for the pollution. It was bad, man. Before, people got right about pollution and littering, and in the 70s, and before that, it's like you could walk across the rivers in some places where I grew up. M Grace 485, and a bunch of people from Michigan. That city was abandoned by everyone. What city? No, I'm on Lake Michigan. We're in Wisconsin, not Michigan. And Michigan's not a city. Your average person says. And I saw someone with Haji. Are you a Hajj? Are you a Haji? Have you done the Hajj? This guy who joined. And I'm sorry, I forgot the rest of your name. I think I gave you a toot when you came on. F. Wiltz and some other. You're an atheist freight conductor in Utah. Nice, man. Thanks. An actual train person. I always feel like an imposter, you know, when an actual train guy comes on. One train guy was like, I work for the train and I wouldn't be caught dead in that fucking hat. I'm like, well, good. I wouldn't be either because I'm alive, you know, for now at least. But yeah, it's just a bit. But it's just a bit. So don't be upset. Toazoa. Detroit. Yeah. They abandoned Detroit. All right. They abandoned it so bad that I would like go there now because there's probably no people in it. What's up? Shine down, King BJJ. Katoto girl. Katoto W girl. I don't know what that is. Cool, man. Thanks for joining, or lady. But yeah, no, we're on the western shore of Lake Michigan, in between Milwaukee and Chicago. Too much monkey biz. Her lady sheep joined. Thanks for joining. What else are we talking about, Jay? You got anything on the docket, my friend? We're joined by Atheist Animated, as always, on StreamYard, through StreamYard on YouTube. There's the YouTube camera right there. TikTok, YouTube, TikTok, YouTube. So yeah, via StreamYard tonight with Atheist Animated, who you can hear on my speakers. Always Scorpio. Good day to you all. Caden Stracker. I ran from Trump. Dude, for you, buddy. I ran from Trump. Love reading the names. I say it every week, but I love reading the names. Am I a socialist? Says Zmog 192. No, you know, I like my capitalism tempered by social policies. I think that's been shown to be about the best way so far. And maybe I'm wrong. I'm not terribly political. I'm pretty disgusted by both parties in America right now, but I'm certainly not like a socialist. You know, who just wants socialism. I can't call myself a progressive for a few reasons that aren't really related to any kind of social justice warrior, you know, thing, because I'm pretty much in favor of any social justice warrior who screams out for social justice, because, you know, in the end, the right-wing assholes who are screaming about their whatever they're crybabying about, that's just social justice that they want too. It kills me when they're like, "Hey, everybody's a victim." What the fuck do you think you sound like when you talk like that? You know, you are looking for your own social justice when you scream for the way that you want things to be, you conservative fuckwit. So, you know, stay out of my face with that shit. Yeah, you know, socialism has to. We can't just have unchecked capitalism. That just creates greed and what we're seeing in America now, which is a greater division of wealth than has ever been imagined before, and a protection of corporations that are too big to fail. Fuck them. Let them fucking fail and start over like some of us have had to do. You know, big fucking deal. We'll get over it. But, you know, I think it's been proven that unchecked capitalism doesn't work. It creates a bubble that bursts, and then even some of the rich people throw themselves off the roof down on Wall Street. So, you know, we need to take care of, there needs to be some kind of welfare class. And I think there needs to be welfare reform, or it needs to be torn down and started over. But you can't ignore those people, or they will just rise up and take, you know, what's theirs. They'll come for you. So you can't ignore them. You know, you need to take care of the people who really, really need it. And that's part of being a civilization that actually lives like Jesus would have lived. You know, I love that Americans think that they want to do what Jesus would do, and then they just don't. It's embarrassing. It's hypocritical. It's you know, completely counterindicated by the teachings of Jesus to run a country the way we run it. People should be more like communists if they were going to actually live like Jesus lived. So it's all just talk, and people don't want to actually do what Jesus would do, which is give away your worldly wealth, share what you have with everybody, and minister to the forgotten members of society. Socialism. Do you have family that hope you find God? Yeah, my mom. Thanks, Infinite Rubbish, for the question. Rubbish. Are you from Britain? I don't know why that name makes me think it's because we don't say
rubbish. Yeah.
Don't we? We don't really say rubbish in America very much. So Infinite Rubbish. I want to say it like that every time I see that. But yeah, my mom hopes that I'll come back, and she prays for me, and she tells me that she prays for me. And I leave it alone. She's a nice person, and she's not a shitty person to me because I'm an atheist. I just know she secretly really wishes. Once in a while, she's like, "Just remember what you learned. Just don't forget what you learned." Which means please go back to being indoctrinated, right? Happy Wednesday, Carnage 13. Thanks for joining. Happy Pride Month. Yes, thanks for bringing it up, and thanks for sending the rainbow of hearts. No, I get that it's a play on words that your name is Rob. That's fairly obvious. I just wonder if you're actually British with that. Go ahead, Jay.
You did get a question from the Golden Nut a while ago.
The Golden Nut.
How do you feel about the "In God We Trust" on money and the "Under God" in the pledge?
I feel like the pledge, it's both stupid. They were both reactions to the communist scare of the 50s. In an attempt to, cast us as a Christian country and a God-fearing country. Then they were never on the money. The founders wouldn't have put it on the money. And the pledge itself, it wasn't, I forget when the pledge was actually written. It wasn't until after the country was founded. It didn't come from right when the country was established. Maybe the mid 1800s, they started inserting the pledge. But the pledge itself is a violation of human rights to force kids to conform to and stand up. That's indoctrination by the government, with or without "under God" in it. The addition of "under God" just made it like doubly offensive. But the pledge needs to go away completely. Never mind the "under God" part. And yeah, it sucks. By heritage, I'm English. Yes. Yeah, well, me too. Aren't we all? Half of us.
It says early pledge was created in 87, but it sounds like there was a bunch of additions to it over time.
In when?
1887.
1887. That was the pledge. So it's
early,
later.
An early pledge was created in 1887, it says.
Yeah. All aboard the atheist train. It's probably just Steven. Thanks for joining, man. You got it, Golden Nut. We try to answer them all, and if you need to put the question in the dialogue box at the bottom of your screen with the question mark in it, go ahead and do it, and then it'll stay there. And if I miss it, I can go and look at it later. It's got limited characters, we know, so try to keep it brief. Sergeant Bake. Hi, I get it. Sergeant Bake, thanks for joining, man. Calgary, CA. Thanks for joining, man. Is that a city in California? Calgary, could be, or Calgary, Canada. Duh, CA. What an idiot. Isn't that in Edmonton or Alberta? Calgary. I don't know. I'm bad with that, but I'm good at geography in general. But towns in Western Canada, Canadian provinces are big and they're kind of unknown to Americans. To our embarrassment, we love Canada. Wish we knew more about it. I should get there. The Great White North. The creepier it gets here, the more I think about going somewhere. And we're pretty close here in Wisconsin. The pledge might be for nationalists, not patriots. Good, Robish. That's good, man. That's a very, very good way to put it. And that's what it is for. It's to try to enforce nationalism through indoctrination on school kids who don't know any better, than to repeat what they're being told to say. So I think it's the libertarian in me is disgusted by the pledge. I'm reading the right. Am I reading this right? You don't believe in God. Yeah, this is the Atheist Underground. Tammy DeVries, shout out to you. But yeah, you are reading this right. We don't believe in God, and people who tune in generally don't believe in God either. Some of them do, and they're welcome to if they're going to be here to learn and be respectful and maybe have their eyes open.
So we got a question from, I think it was from Arizona 4.
Arizona 4?
As an ear, though. Arizona. I assume that's how you pronounce that. They want to know, does this make you fear death? Because I do. I assume atheism.
Does atheism make me fear death?
Or be an atheist? I'm not completely...
No, I mean, you're going to fear death because of the person that you are, not because of the philosophy that you can't help yourself from subscribing to. I mean, I think most people fear death on some level until you grapple with it and get over it. And some people claim that they don't fear death, and that's awesome. It's an irrational fear. There's no reason to fear death. Dying might be, painful and scary, so maybe that's something to fear. But death itself, no. Tammy DeVries asks why I don't believe in God, because it's an intellectually embarrassing concept that was clearly made up by man. I mean, that's anybody who opens their eyes and looks at the way that the belief system evolved can see that man made up the concept. And if you weren't told about it, chances are almost 100% that you would never come to that idea by yourself, especially given today's complete set of scientific knowledge. It's just not in me to believe that for which there is no evidence, especially when it's attached, as it has been, to an unsupportable dogma system, like Christianity, which is a further embarrassment to the intellect. There's simply no way to justify the mythology and the mythological arc of Judaism through Christianity. It's laughable, honestly. So, good for you if it helps you to totally believe in a God like you do. But yeah, maybe you won't see anything on the other side. That's the whole thing. Kiyama, thanks. But yeah, exactly. That's how people think. It's probably just that's how people felt about Zeus thousands of years ago. And there's the thousands of other gods that have passed into non-existence because one system is overtaking another one. So it's pretty easy for you not to believe in that, and no, God hasn't worked any wonders in your life. You've had wonders in your life, and you should be humble, I guess, to that you've been lucky enough not to have shitty things happen in your life. But no, God hasn't done anything in your life. Wonders happen to people, and it's usually because you stepped up and did something. You want to give credit to God, that's up to you. But to talk about it like it was real, it just makes you sound silly, honestly. You talk about the intellect, but what makes you intelligent? Just because you're an atheist? Yeah, I'm intelligent just because I'm an atheist. No, I'm an atheist because I can't bring myself to believe the unbelievable. It's like being gay. It's not a choice, right? And people are always talking about the whole Pascal's wager thing. People come at you with that. Well, what if you're wrong? Well, what if you're wrong about the Christian God, and then it turns out to be that Odin is the God that's out there? There's no making that bet, because any of us could be wrong. You're only a Christian because you were born in a Christian country, or you were born into a Christian family and you were indoctrinated. If you were born in Pakistan, you'd be a Muslim. If you were born in Hawaii 300 years ago, you'd believe in the Hawaiian native myth. So the circumstances of your Christianity are the merest of coincidence. So to think that that's true just because that's what you grew up with, it's unconscionable. You gotta use your mind. And when I use my mind, whether you want to call me intelligent or not, I don't see any evidence for God. And I was raised in a church. As people like, well, if you just try, if you believe, if you look for God, he's there. If you talk to God, he'll talk back to you. No, if you want him to be there and you try to talk to him, then you hear him. Then you're like, okay, I believe. It's because you want to believe. And none of that is God. That's you. That's you doing it for you creating the crutch that you need emotionally, you creating the self-help that you need to stay off drugs or to stay out of, prostitution or whatever it is you're trying to get over. And that's not a slam on prostitutes. I think sex work should be perfectly legal. But, if you're in a bad place and you come to Christianity and it takes you out of that bad place, then great, good for you. Still not God that did it. If you've studied many religions and you chose Christianity over those other religions, then again, that's good for you. There's still no justifying it. Those other religions will say, I studied other religions too, and Islam is right for me. So y'all can't be right, but y'all can be wrong. Thank you, Gravel Heart. Thank you. I'm not sure what he's thanking me for. Believe in yourself as much as you believe in God, and you're even better off. Yeah, I mean, this is it. And people people want to give credit to God because they think that's the way to be humble and not be full of hubris, but it's like, why? The human mind is amazing. The human spirit and and when I mean spirit, I don't mean soul. I mean your character, your charisma, that which makes you. That's what did it all. You don't need to give up credit to an unsupportable myth. All hail the Sky Daddy. Who loves the term Sky Daddy? I love it. I see you avoid genders discussion because cherry picking science. I see both. What? You avoid genders discussion because I are cherry picking science. Huh? I see we both. Don't know what that is.
Yeah, they've been kind of just throwing random stuff out So
yeah, I don't know what that is.
Tay Squirrel on YouTube says, personally, I find pretending to believe what you don't inherently dishonest.
Yeah, I don't know who could do that anyway. I mean, that's the whole thing about Pascal's wager. One of the arguments that immediately came up with that really bad philosophy. And I think Pascal even knew it was an unsustainable philosophy when he did it. It's like if God is all knowing, then he knows that you're going to fake it. You know, he knows you're hedging your bets, and he knows that you don't really believe, and so you're going to hell anyway because you're making it up. Kurt Klusendorf. There's a good German name. Klusendorf. Wie geht's, mein Freund? America's Most Wanted. Whoa. Call the cops, man. America's Most Wanted is with us. Josh T. Albert. Thanks for joining, buddy. And I know a bunch of you have joined on by David H. 707. Giving credit for God is not the way to be humble, and I am a believer. Whatever. He speaks through us. No, he doesn't. You speak, and you pretend that it's God. What if aliens show up to convert us to their God? Yeah, crazy, right? Thank you for doing what you do. You are welcome, Gravel Heart. What's that mean, Gravel Heart? It sounds like a condition. Oh, I got Gravel Heart today. I'm just teasing.
Sounds like a heavy metal band.
That's right, Gravel Heart. I
like it.
Right. Rory, 2000. Do you listen to metal, dude?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit. I'm really bad with band names, but yeah, I go all over. I mean, like, I think recently it's not metal, but Marilyn Manson and stuff like that I like, but I have to be in the right mood. I just jump around everything from like folk to whatever.
Yeah. That's cool. Marilyn Manson kind of took a shot, didn't he?
No, I haven't been following. Why? What happened?
My girlfriend, Evan Rachel Wood, big fan of Westworld. You like Westworld, people? Evan Rachel Wood was groomed by him. She went out with him when he was like 35, and she was like 17 or something. And I couldn't believe it then. I'm like, really? Her and that freak? But he's like got dropped by his label and everything because she basically came out and was like, this dude statutoryized me.
Yeah, that surprised me. He definitely had a lot of issues over time.
Yeah, you think? Japanese metal is crazy. I would give that a listen.
Oh, that sounds cool. Yeah.
Iron Maiden, there's some old school metal. I can get behind a little old school metal, but I'm not a big metal guy. I know it upsets a lot of my atheist fans. Scarlet Begonias. As a landscaper, I love that handle, Scarlet. I love that handle, and I love you so much. Thanks for being here. Are you cherry picking science you believe in? Me? Really? Your average person keeps asking about cherry picking science? I'm not sure what that means.
Have you even mentioned science once in this?
Yeah, I don't think I have. I don't think I have brought up science.
Iron Maiden. Somebody mentioned.
Iron Maiden. Mom of 2DD. What's that? 2 Dungeons and Dragons? Mom of 2 dads? What's the point of praying for change if it's already in God's plan? Yeah, then there's no free will. Yeah, and it's like your prayer is so important that God's going to change his inscrutable plan for you because you prayer is only meant to make the prayer feel good. The person who's praying, feel good. That's the only. I mean, prayer works. Yeah, it does work. It works to make the person doing it feel better about themselves. It stimulates a part of the mind that other activities like doing drugs and meditation and rocking yourself, maybe if you're an autistic person, and it's comforting. It triggers the kinds of things that make us feel good in the brain. So prayer does work on that level. But as far as affecting change, how could it? If God either has an inscrutable plan that he's not going to change for one person on a planet of 7 billion, because you asked, it's ludicrous. Do I like Sam Harris? Yeah, you know what? I don't talk about Sam Harris because I don't know enough. I know he's controversial, right? Because he's what's the deal? Do you know, Jay?
No, but I'll look it up quick.
Sam Harris. I know he's too big for his britches, for one thing, because I've interviewed a lot of top people in the atheist movement, and he's too big to get to. He's too cool, and I've come within like a person or two, 1 degree of him, but he's too big to help out atheists on our level when we're looking for somebody for the podcast or somebody to interview or somebody like he's like Bart Ehrman. Yeah, he'll help you out if you come up with this fucking $1,000, piece of shit. It's like the lady who thanked God, but I think no, Sam Harris is like controversial because he's like he's conservative in some ways, isn't he? Like people accuse him of being Islamophobic or something. So I don't know. I haven't read his book. I don't care. you know, about the atheist books that are out there. I was an atheist long before any of those books came out. If they help people become atheists, then I'm all for it. If that works for you, that's great. I don't have anything bad to say about Sam Harris other than he's too good for us. But I don't know enough about his politics to hate him or love him. The most spiritual thing I've experienced would be DMT, but I know it was all in my head. But was it fun? Yeah, this DMT thing is new to me. I might have to get me a hold of some because I love psychedelics. That's from Josh T. Albert. Milk is way more important than children. What's that? He's not conservative. Well, I don't know, but he's got some controversial ideas that other atheists aren't on board with. I don't think he's in line with progressivism, maybe. But you know, I know he's like ruffled some feathers along the way. Maybe you can tell me. Project Pat Morita. What's up, man? Seen that? I've seen that handle before, and I wonder what that means. You know, Pat Morita famously from the Karate Kid, the little old Japanese dude who died several years back, and was a busy actor in the 70s and 80s, and probably before that. He was the original diner owner Arnold on Happy Days, which our own town of Kenosha has the diner that Happy Days Diner, Arnold's, and then Al's was modeled after, with a big A on the roof. It's right down the road from here. It's terrible. Atheist here, I think you keep taking my comments wrong by the first sentence. Shaylease, I'm not sure I've seen your comment. Did I read one that yeah, R.I.P. Mr. Miyagi, yeah. Sorry, Shaylease, I'm not trying to be taking your comments wrong. Maybe you can start over. Project Pat is a Memphis rapper, hence the. Oh, I like that. I like a what do you call it? It's like a portmanteau of names. I like that when that happens. He's vocal that while he dislikes all religions, especially those that preach blind faith. We talking about Sam Harris?
Sam Harris, yeah.
Yeah, see, I think people can you know, they get down on him for being anti-religious or like a Muslim, Islamophobe or something like that. It's Elise. It's an O, not a C. I'm old and blind. I'm like, Oha Elise. It's all good. Just want to be clear that I'm not some Jesus freak. No, that's cool. You know, like I say, I've known Jesus freaks that are cool people, man. Aloha, Hawaiian Standard Time here. What's up, man? Aloha. This is for you, buddy. Love it. I miss Hawaii so fucking much. Carlos Kevin from Hawaii. Is that your name or is it Kevin Carlos? What he's mostly controversial is he says he believes Islam is the most aggressive. Yeah, boy, that's controversial. What the fuck, man? Anybody with eyes can do that, you know? What the fuck? What did you think of Religulous, the movie? What's with the caps, Rory? Why? Stop yelling at me. Rory, 2000. Yeah, I loved Religulous. I think it went on too long. I need to wrap it up, you know. And kind of could have been a half an hour shorter, but I love Bill Maher. I do. I don't agree with everything he says, and I don't think he's super funny, but in general, he's right on. I think he's pretty fair with his criticism of politics and stuff. So yeah, and Religulous, funny, good movie if you haven't seen it.
You got a funny comment from YouTube from why non-believers are idiots. That's their username. It says atheists shall be placed in outer darkness, inside the snake circling the earth. I don't know what that means, but that was
yeah, that's hello from Vietnam. Hello, my friend. Positivity is overrated from Vietnam. Nice. Are you Vietnamese? Or are you just in Vietnam? That's awesome, man. Thanks for joining. I love that. I don't think anyone has tuned in from Vietnam before. That's fucking cool. Love to go to Vietnam. Vietnam has a really vibrant cinema industry, and I've seen a couple of Vietnamese movies that made me fucking really want to go. I know you talk about snakes. You go to a place like Vietnam, you might get bit by something that kills you. You know, that's the rough thing about Vietnam, but it looks like a beautiful, beautiful culture and a beautiful people. Yeah, the snake from Norse mythology, right? That's funny. If the atheists are going to get stuck in a dark place in a snake that goes around the world, that sounds, I don't know, sounds better than hell, I guess. You know, at least you might have a view of the planet as you go around. I don't know.
You get to see inside a snake. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, right. Are your parents okay with your atheism? No, my mom doesn't like it, and she doesn't bring it up because she doesn't want to hear me like fucking beat the fuck out of her unsustainable myth arc. So she doesn't go there, but she'll like slip it in. Like she'll be like, "I'm praying that you have a safe trip when I drive," and stupid shit like that. Again, like God, if he was going to kill me on the road, he's going to kill me on the road, whether mom prays about it or not. But yeah, she wants me to be she wants me to come back to the faith. Nobody Edoban. That's nobody backward. Nobody _ Edoban. Follow. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, Yomunganda. That's the snake, right? It's called Yomunganda Intellectual. Anyone seen The Witnesses? New movie in theaters about the beginnings of Mormonism. No, that's spooky. Captain Obvious recommends that. Yeah, Mormonism. The beginnings of Mormonism, like with a con man basically, and a bunch of dummies. Here, look at this. Believe this and follow me and give me your money. Great, did a great job. You picked the right bunch of dummies. I'll tell you that. Your mom does the same. Enjoy. One. Thanks. Yeah, you know, my mom's cool and she loves me and she doesn't like demonize me or shun me or not invite me to dinners. You know, we don't live very close to each other, but she's coming out later to see me. She loves me, and she just secretly hates that I'm an atheist. Love honest atheist. Thank you. Love you, man. The 3-word sentence with no punctuation. Not really sure what that means. David H 707. Lau, you mean the heroes? Not sure what that refers to. Oh, I see you are the fake intelligent atheist kind like Joseph Stalin. Your average person still talking? Thanks for muting. Thanks for muting that one bimbot that was out there, you know, insisting. Why do people get on an atheist live if you're not an atheist or you're not interested somehow in actually learning? Like our guy Sanctified joins and he's cool, and actually contributes sometimes. But these people like come on and be like trying to convert us. Yeah, thanks. I don't think he's our guy. It's just Steven. I don't think so. He doesn't need to be muted. Yeah, nice. Yeah, your average person. That's who you meant, right? Why are people so willing to give away money? Did I miss it? Evangelical Christian sheep on some level? Yeah, and they're all sheep, and they need the emotional crutch. It makes them comforted. Hello from Tulsa, Spencer 9197. The Bible supports slavery. Yeah, sure does. The Bible supports a lot of stupid ass shit. You were, but you're back on, Stephen. Sorry about that. He got you back on. Or she got you back on. The Danish dish from Aarhus, or close thereby. Put you back on. I think she hit your name by accident. You listen to podcast Gangster Capitalism this season about Falwell Jr. Yeah, fuck Falwell Jr. And no, I don't listen to any podcast. I just don't have time.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, right. I was like, what I do? You didn't do anything, buddy. You were with us. Hey, like, what I do? Before the crows, or hello, but also wow. Yeah, she apologizes. She unmuted you right away when she saw it, and I get notified across the screen which trolls are getting muted and which ones aren't. I'm atheist, brought up Protestant. Me too. Wife is non-practicing Muslim, and kids are in Catholic school. Whoa, buddy, what next? You can invite them for dinner? That's a wacky life you got going on there. That's cool though, man. A lot of times Catholic school is a better option than your local public school. I know the Catholic school here in town is definitely less steeped in Christian nationalism than the public school, because I had to fight the public school where a teacher put the Bible on the walls of her advanced placement class and pissed off a bunch of fourth graders because she had a classroom that didn't just have Christians in it. And kids were like, what? Why are you teaching us about God? That's not your business. Fourth graders, yeah. Advanced placement's right. She fucked with the wrong smart kids, and we ended up taking them down. But I think in general, Catholic schools, the religion in Catholic schools, in my experience, is pretty benign, pretty, kind of perfunctory, and they kind of got to gloss over it because they're a Catholic school and they don't want to lose their whatever support they're getting from the diocese. But I think in general, you can count on. I know Jews who send their kids to Catholic school because they know they'll at least get taught some shit, whereas you can't count on the public schools in America anymore for any of that. They don't even teach them. Never mind learning the metric system. Kids come out of school without knowing how many feet are in a fucking yard in schools in America. It's fucking disgusting. And watch the famous Aspen video about Sam Harris changed my life. All right, Rory, that's maybe one for me to put on the list and see what's up with old Sam, handsome Sam Harris. Thank you. Octopus on the roof. Carly, love you. Love you too, baby. Clay Crane woman join. Thanks everybody for joining. If I miss you, and don't give you a toot, don't feel left out. Roshan 6, Jim Harrigan, Harrigan, that's me. 80 piece. Join. Thank you everybody. Well, how'd your mom first take it when you came out as atheist? Not good. And, she didn't freak out. She get more sad, I think, than anything else. But right away, when I destroyed all of her arguments, she shuts it down now. She doesn't even go there. She doesn't want to talk about it with me. If I get excited because something happened in my atheist world and I bring it up right away, I can see her slamming the doors down because she just does not want her cogdis to come up. She's a Christian, a born again Christian who got more conservative as the church did. Like I said, when I was a little kid, we grew up in a church that wasn't terribly conservative. It was a liberal, very skeptical Protestant church, and questioning the Bible or interpreting it any way you wanted was welcome. And as Reagan came into office and the just say no generation kind of came, these blue-blooded, blue blazer wearing conservative twits came by, and it all went along with a conservative wave in religion too, and the whole born again movement took hold in the 80s, and she was right there with that. She was ready for Christianity to be more hardcore. Thoughts on Joe Rogan? A dangerous piece of shit is Joe Rogan, and he's an anti-vaxxer and a fuckwit and a loudmouth, and the people who listen and watch Joe Rogan are the same kind of people who supported the assault on the Capitol, from what I can see. Sorry if you're a Joe Rogan fan, but yeah, I got no use for Joe fucking Rogan. My mom stopped talking to me again. Loud classic move. Yeah. Maybe I'm not one of those guys who calls his mom a lot, but we have a good relationship. She loves me, I love her, and we just don't talk about religion. I blame Bill as well. Yes, some public school teachers are doing a good job, or at least trying. I know, and we're going to talk about that on Friday. I'm so excited. We're going to have a duel live on Friday with the queen of atheist TikTok, my gal Rachel, on I Blame Bill. If you're not following her, then you're one of the only 5 people on atheist TikTok that's not. And I got a million questions about her experiences as a public school teacher. And I'm not sure I really knew that you were in the public school. I sort of assumed that, but you can't ever be sure. It might have been a parochial school. I know that there's not I don't think you have to be a Catholic to teach necessarily a parochial school, but could have been a private school. There's plenty of good private schools too that aren't religious private schools. So good for you for being in the public school. I can't wait to pick your brain about what that's like. Both of my parents were teachers in the public school district, and my mom brought up I Blame Bill's name is Rachel. I don't think I'm giving anything away there. She finally changed it on her bio, so you can see it. She used to be Queen Vashti. Well, and what is Queen Vashti? I always wondered what that was. I'm going to ask her that too. Do I enjoy horror movies? Actually, no. You know what? I don't really enjoy horror movies, and my suspension of disbelief does not generally extend very well to horror movies. I've seen a few that were engaging and kind of fun, but as a genre, I'd have to say horror movies are my least favorite genre, just because I can't buy it usually in my mind, and I'm a guy who gives up pretty good. I suspend my disbelief for movies pretty well. Queen Vashti, your favorite Bible character? All right, that's cool. JZ Weber joined. Thank you, JZ Weber, for joining. Thanks for being here. I watch him because he has a lot of MMA figures on his show. You like MMA? Yeah, I mean, if you're into the MMA, which is basically guys hugging each other for 90% of the fight, from what the MMA that I've seen. And I'm a fight fan. I was raised on boxing. My dad was a big boxing fan, so I miss it when the days when boxing was good, and there was people in boxing that you could like and get behind, and so I get it. I get like an MMA, right? You like that stuff, Jay?
I don't really watch it. I don't. I do think he does have some interesting guests for sure, but he also has like terrible ones. He had the guy from the Scientology father that we talked about a couple weeks ago. He had him on.
Oh, did he? Yeah. I can't. And I'm the Skavich. Yeah, Skavich or
Skavich.
Yeah. He had the dad on.
Yeah, talking about. Cool. And then I think he got some letters from Scientology.
Okay.
Joe Rogan did.
Yeah, because that's huge for that guy. Good for him. He's right here in West Dallas, and like I said, we had him speak at one of our events, and literally The guy wants to get his story out there. The worst fucking speaker you ever listen to. Maybe he's gotten better. He's an old guy, and he rambled, and he was boring, and it didn't. So I was like, why do we get this guy? So I'm glad he's at it still, because he's got an important message to get out about how horrible of an oppressive cult Scientology is, and the shit he's gone through. Being shunned, not being able to see his grandkids, and so forth, and so on. So, yeah, good for him to get on with such a big. I know Joe Rogan's got like a zillion fucking followers, right? It's like it's like the most popular podcast in the fucking nation, which is scary. I mean, it's just
100% scary.
Yeah. What single piece of advice do you have for younger generations? Just keep on being you, man. I'm so heartened by the younger generations, and really people get down on the kids for whatever, the work ethic and not being you know what, they see what their parents went through, losing houses and all of this bullshit religion that hasn't gotten anyone anywhere, and it's horrible disparity in the distribution of wealth in our country. So I got nothing bad to say about the kids, other than I can't fucking understand what they're talking about half the time, and I got Urban Dictionary on my phone just so I can fucking speak to kids who are under 25. Honestly, that's not an exaggeration. It's crazy how fast the lingo changes and street speak. My advice is to just keep on being you, keep on mistrusting, like we all did when you're young. Question everything. Be proud of the fact that you don't believe the old myths. The old gods are dying, and it's because of you people. And the old way is dying. And sooner or later, whether people like it or not, this will be a more progressive government, because that's what those kids want. And I know people get more conservative as they get older, but every generation that curve gets further along, and there's people who are they're never going to come back from where they are now on that curve and go back to being old school homophobe. What's transgender, and I don't want to hear about these pronouns and all this, but no, that bullshit's all going away, and the fucking world is changing, man, and you need to get on board with it, because both millennials and Gen Zers don't want anything to do with that shit, and they're the ones who are running the world, or they're gonna be in a minute. So I love it all. Let's support those kids. If they need to live on your couch for a while and you're a parent, then let them. They'll figure it out. This country's too rich to be leaving people behind the way it is, and they get that. They see the way that their parents struggled and working 2 jobs just to pay the fucking electric bill on the McMansion that they bought before the bubble burst 5 times. It's just dumb. They're not stupid. I mean, some of them are. 48% of them are, because they live in America and they got the shitty education system, and they believe the bullshit and the homophobia and the fascism that's going on right now. But the other ones, the other 52%, they're all right. They're all right with me, man. Thanks for the roses, baby. Feisty Scribe, thanks for joining. Again, if I missed you, no slight. It's because I get talking and I can't read and talk at the same time, because I'm old, damn it, and I get sidetracked. But I love you all. Thank you all for joining. That Nancy, are you one of them there, Nancy boys? Or are you actually just a woman named Nancy? Either way, we love you. Happy Pride Month, my friends. Roshan 6, many in school system in Tennessee get away with it constantly. I'm getting in a conversation, I think.
Separation of church and state issues.
Yeah, I mean, the church gets a pass. Religion gets a pass because it's religion, and so they can get away with breaking laws all the time without any repercussion at all. If you're a teacher in Texas, you might get fired if you get outed as an atheist, because the school district is hell bent on cramming Christianity into the schools. Nana in Virginia, welcome aboard. Evening, my love. I still think that pigs are the perfect food. Infinite rubbish. Yeah, if they weren't just loaded with cholesterol, they are. There's like, I mean, pork rinds. I mean, they even like deep fry the skin and it turns into a delicious snack. So, sorry for all the vegans out there and vegetarians who that offends, but yeah, pigs, tasty. How do you feel about our current political parties? They suck. They both fucking suck. They suck. They suck meat pop on a fucking stick. I hate them. The Republicans are so fucking ridiculous and embarrassing. Literally the Democrats are only a step behind as far as actually representing a real person. They're like cartoon political parties that represent a cartoon, buffoon, unrealistic American that no one really is out there, you know, except for like the people that assaulted the Capitol. Those people really are fascists who are represented by the extreme right wing of the party, but that's not a majority in any kind of way. Most even Republicans, even conservative people are not that fucking crazy. We need a new party. We need a party that actually takes care of the people and works for everybody. A government of the people, for the people, by the people, however, whatever the order was supposed to be. That, you know, we're missing that. We don't have that. You know, nobody is represented properly in government. You're either overrepresented or underrepresented. There's no actual balance in government in America, and it's a fucking embarrassment. It's an embarrassment on the world stage. It's an embarrassment to me as an American who I was a patriot when I was a kid, and now I'm a patriot because, you know, people like us are the only real patriots. People who are actually standing up for what this country was founded to be. And that wasn't a Christian nation, and that wasn't, you know, a ridiculous, unchecked capitalist nightmare of, you know, banking fraud and graft on Wall Street, and, you know, protection of giant corporate interests and outsized lobbies, you know, for interests that don't represent the people and that are leaving the middle class to fade away completely, and creating a disparity in wealth that is beyond anything that anybody could have imagined. The Democrats abandon the working class. Everybody's abandoned the working class. You know, I fucking hate the unions. The Democrats, they pander to God just the same way that the Republicans do. They get a pass from the liberal media because they're not as batshit crazy as the Republicans, but they suck too, and they all just need to go away. Yeah, political party never works for the people. Seems that way, you know. And I think that you know, the best intended politicians, they have a few years where they're you know, they're in that zone where they want to do good and they actually are altruistic, but then they're in Congress for 50 fucking years and they lose it. What are your pronouns? I, he, you, he, she, it, we, they, and you, plural. That's all three cases of singular and plural pronouns. Yeah, no, I'm a he, him guy. I'm just an old straight guy. That doesn't mean I don't support anybody who wants to use any pronoun. My pronoun is Zed. How about that?
We got a bunch of
thoughts on black people. What the fuck?
I didn't see that question.
It's on here. It came up and they put it in the question about thoughts on black people. Yeah. You know, I love everybody. I don't know what it's about. My girlfriend, for, you know, not that it's neither here nor there, but my girlfriend is black. And I love black culture, honestly. And I think a lot of white kids love black culture, and I'm not sure that I think they get treated not unfairly, but I think that people discount how much white people actually love and respect and dig and are jealous and envious of black stars and black culture, black athletes, and I think they get spun the wrong way a lot of times. But you know, the more I've learned about it, the more I've learned how I was racist in some, you know, subliminal, unintentional, kind of subconscious ways when I didn't really realize it. And I absolutely love what black people contribute to society, and that's no different from any other cultural group. I'm a guy who hates everybody, but is a gregarious person too. It's one of the dichotomies of my nature. I'm a gregarious misanthrope, you know. So I love culture. I love language. I love learning about you know, every kind of people from around the world. So yeah, I'm not even sure what kind of a question that is. What do I think about black people? But I love black people like I love everybody. I think they fucking need to give up religion. You know, they're not helping us as atheists because they're steeped in religion. And that's a generalization. Obviously, we know a lot of black atheists. I know more than most people because I'm deep into the atheist movement and have been for some years. And I know black atheist leaders on the national level. But you know, there's not enough. There's not enough in pop culture. There's not enough athletes who are willing to come out as the atheists we know they are. But we'll get there. And I don't blame black people for being tied to Christianity the way they are. It's a holdover from slavery and from, you know, what they went through as a people, and it's hard for them to shake. But you know, God's had 500 years to help the black man in his struggle in the new world, and he hasn't fucking done shit. You know, I like to say that. I say it a lot if you've listened to me, but honestly, why you're a black person struggling with systemic racism, which exists in America? I don't want to hear anybody say it doesn't, because I live it every day. I'm on the streets, I'm out in the world, I see the way the cops treat people. I work with all people of color, and I know it's real, and it's fucking disgusting, and I benefit from my white privilege every day, all the time, and I do try to use my white privilege to actually help POC all the time. And that's not to make myself sound, you know, that's not a self-aggrandizing thing to say. I really, you know, I try to use my privilege to speak truth to power when I can, because I'm not afraid of saying what's on my mind to cops, and there are a lot of people in this country who have to be. And I'm lucky enough to not be in that position. And when I can, I try to help out there. Same with Latinos. Religion is so based in our culture. Yeah. Are you a Latino, Stephen? Yeah, it is. And again, I know lots of atheists who are Latinos. So they're out there. And David Tamayo, if you're not familiar, runs HAFRE, the Hispanic American Free Thinkers, the largest Latino free thinker atheist organization in the country. Support them. Go to Facebook and find them. It's HAFRE, HAFREE. David Tamayo, un colombiano bien chévere, bien cabrón, que sabe todo de la cultura, de la ciencia, está bien educado, y es una ayuda grande a la gente latina en batallar el cristianidad en su cultura. So yeah, if you're Mexican American, it's Stephen. I don't meet a lot of Mexican Americans named Stephen. It's kind of a white boy name. Hey, Stevie. He's little Stevie Gonzalez. I'm just teasing you, buddy. That's awesome. No, we need more. Obviously, we need more Latino atheists to come out and again fight it. Like, why would you choose the religion of the conqueror? Why would you choose the religion of the conquistador and the oppressor? It's just, but it's kind of a Stockholm syndrome thing where you have it beaten into your head as a put down people that this is what you need to aspire to, and after generation after generation after generation, they can't get it out of their psyche that's what they should be, motivated to being, looking up to that white God, and can I get someday maybe we can get there, and it's ugly. You blend in among white people, I bet, with that handle.
Here, I got a bunch of questions lined up. Are you ready?
Go, man.
About 4. Okay, so we got this one came from a while ago. Do you think people can be psychic?
No.
This one I think is a little bit worded strangely, but it's all right. Wonder percentage of atheists that reconvert. I can't fathom anything that would put my head in the sand.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of stats to back that up, that people who were raised religious and then move away from it, whether to agnosticism or balls out atheism, will recidivate. And I'm not even sure if that's a word, but they will backslide as life gets tough and you get older and you get sick, or you start thinking philosophically about your death and you don't want to. And if you were indoctrinated as a youth, it's hard to escape, and you might escape it in your glory years when you're not afraid of that kind of shit. But I think there is stats to back up the fact that you do. But what can you say? If that's what happens to you, that still doesn't make God real. You know what I mean? And I can't see the future. I'm not psychic, but I can't see the future, so I can't say that I won't too. People are always like, I'd like to see him be an atheist on his deathbed. Fucking guy, he's so confident now in his bullshit, bald ass motherfucker. But that still doesn't mean it's real. And maybe I will. Maybe I'll cop out. Maybe I'll wimp out in the end. But that doesn't make it real. That just means that that my indoctrination got back at me. And if you were never introduced to the God concept at all, there's nothing out there that would bring you to it, because it wouldn't exist for you to go to. The chances that you're the guy who makes it up are minimal, right? Maybe pretend with me that no one had ever invented God or religion, and so no one could have been indoctrinated to it. So, and knowing all that we know now about science, like, who's going to go there in their head? You know, it's just I have a hard time thinking that would even happen. So,
I am Bill had a good video that I related to where she was talking about how she still has from the childhood indoctrination where something bad happens, and she in the back of her mind she thinks, you know, was that I'm hoping it was her video. Otherwise, you know, still check her out. But she said, you know, was that God responding, you know, every time something bad happened? Because you know, as a child, that's what you're taught, and that's in the back of your subconscious. So, and I think that's probably the most common version of people slipping, you know, doing that would be, you know, sort of how that's the only way they can fight that childhood fear.
Octopus on the Roof, Carly says that that everybody's an atheist on their deathbed. She's got a different take. She works in a hospice where people are dying all the time, and the only ones who are not are the families that are taking care of those people. Those are the people who are praying. And she says that most people, and maybe you come to an acceptance. I think that's the way I'm reading it. She said that everyone's an atheist on their deathbed, which that's counterintuitive to me. I wouldn't think so, but you know, there's somebody who's right there in death's face every day. This is why I love you. The best answers to the usual questions. Thanks, baby. Love you, Keisha. You're awesome. You're a great fan. And we're so happy to have you on board, my friend. Crackers 429. Yeah, everyone is born an atheist. That's for sure. You need to be indoctrinated at some point, or at least induced to the idea. Very few people come to it on their own. I would hesitate, or I would hazard to guess. And those that do come to it because, you know, they got invited to a church or they saw a sign. You're driving through Indiana and you're in a desperate state. You look up, there's a billboard every fucking mile that says, depressed? Jesus has the answers. 1-888, and then it's a toll, right? You got to call and pay to have somebody lie to you on the phone. But you know, yeah, if something happens to you and that brings you to a faith because you're desperate, you know, well, there's not much I can do about that. You know, everybody needs to go to sleep at the night. Yeah, Octopus on the Roof. Carly says, I've seen so many die and no one prays at the end. That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, we're all going to find out. I live in Tennessee and church every few feet. Yeah, I drive through Tennessee and I hadn't until recently. Changes in my life made it so that I drive through Tennessee and Kentucky all the time. In Tennessee especially, there's literally every few feet there's another Free Will Baptist Church. You know, Free Will Baptist Church, Free Will Baptist Church of Shithole, Free Will Baptist Church of Pine Ridge, Free Will Baptist Church of Raccoon Holler, Free Will Baptist Church of Spruce Grove, Free Will Baptist Church of blibbity 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 blah. It's fucking scary, man. And these aren't the kind of churches that are raking in the millions. Every time I see one, I'm like, you know what? This is the people here. They're desperate. They don't have any money. They're living in a fucking shack. And I'm not being, you know, classist when I say that. You drive through Tennessee and it's unbelievable how many people just live in a shack or single wide or whatever, and they all go to the closest church they can, which is not very far. Like old boy said, they're literally on every fucking corner, and they're just a little white church. They're barely making enough money through the offering to keep the preacher in money, and that's the guy's job in that demographic in that part of the world. He's like, that's what you do. Somebody's a dentist, maybe somebody's a carpenter, somebody's a farmer, somebody's a sharecropper, somebody's a shoe repairman. I don't know. Somebody's a trucker. And most people don't have a job at all, and you know their life is miserable. They vote for the wrong person because they vote for the party that is least likely to help them out of the situation, and they go to the local church to get a little comfort. And it's hard for me to get down on churches like that. It's silly that we've miseducated people to the point where they still want to deal with that on a Sunday morning instead of getting up and redoing their resume. And trying to improve their life in a tangible way. They're going to go down and pray to a myth. But you know, those churches aren't making money, and the preachers in those churches are mostly good-hearted people who are trying to lead the flock and give people some peace of mind who have shitty, desperate lives. So, you know, I don't hate on those churches. I think it's sad that we have a society that seems to breed them like mushrooms in a field, but at least they're not like taking in riches. You know what I mean? The guy has a good idea of ministering to the downtrodden people in his neighborhood. So, but yeah, it's fucking scary if you drive through Tennessee how many goddamn churches there are. And I tell people that all the time. The Europe video that I made on how somebody asked why is Europe seem so much less religious than America, and a lot of Europeans are like, what? There's so much religion here. We're so religious. This is the seat of Christianity. Europe is the seat. What about the Vatican? Come fucking live in Texas for a minute before you talk shit about how religious Europe is. Yeah, there's plenty of religious people in Spain and Portugal and Italy and even Germany, places. They don't do it like they do here. They don't wear it on their sleeve. They don't make it a political point to try to get somebody who's changing the laws. It's a thing. It's in the background of their lives, and they were indoctrinated. And yeah, there's plenty of religious people in Europe. So if you're one of the people who watches that video and you're going to comment like that, keep it to your fucking self. I know that there's plenty of religion in Europe. It's not what we're talking about. Europe might be the seat of Christianity because of the Vatican, as people say. America is the seat of evangelical idiocy and stupid, shitbird, uneducated, dirty, unwashed, moronic, fuckwit, evangelical assholes. This is the fucking place. Everywhere else takes a second fucking backseat to the disgusting fucking religiosity of America. Just call me Casper, follow the host. Thanks for the follow, my friend. And thanks everybody for following. We blasted past 40,000 largely on the strength of that European video. I think everybody in Europe has seen me and likes me now. And the people in America are like, Americans aren't stupid. Americans aren't stupid. Yeah. If you're offended by that video, then you're one of the ones, dude. Sorry to say.
Here's a perfect time for this question from Matilda Dalt. Have you ever met a person who was have you ever met a religious person who was willing to have a discussion?
Yeah, they all want to have a discussion. You know, I'm not sure what they can't shut their fucking mouths about having a discussion. You know, I have people wanting to debate me on it. You know, I'm like, I don't really want to debate a religious person. It's like banging your head with a brick, you know, trying to fucking talk to a religious person. And the guy was nice. I'm like, that's not really what I do. You know, maybe I'd be okay at it. Maybe I wouldn't. Man, I don't want to get my ass wiped by a fucking creationist. That's for fucking sure. And I'm not that guy who's got like all his debate points lined up in a row. So if you're not ready for that, you know, you can end up looking stupid. But I think this guy generally just wanted to have an actual discussion about it. So yeah, I mean, I do. I meet religious people, and I think what you mean by this, Matilda, is have you ever met one willing to like maybe compromise in their ideas and have an open? And no, they want to have a discussion so they can convert your ass back. Octopus on the Roof says, "Keep on keeping on. People need to know religion is evil and stupidity." Thank you, and you keep on doing what you do. And hospice work is. That's a tough gig, and a special person who can do that and do it with aplomb and alacrity. Churches, banks, and food, only successful businesses in my hometown, says Keisha. Yeah, I don't know how, you know, like I said, in Kentucky, some of those churches, they're not very successful, and especially with COVID, a lot of them shutting their doors, which and that's fine with me. You know, people can find something else to do. They can go to the one where they consolidate. You know, those churches shut, and they all just go to one church, and then the people that are left who want to go to church end up with a bigger church. Chanda Panda, 420. 420. Join the host. Thank you for following the host. Love you. What happens when you die? You stop breathing and your heart doesn't beat anymore. Do you think your political bias contributes to your disgust of religious people? No, you're making assumptions about my political bias. I'm not as left-leaning as my atheism would make people believe. I just miss an actual middle. I miss people who are willing to compromise to get things done for the greater good for everybody. Actual civic responsibility, actual civic duty, actual civil answers to the problems of civilization. You know what I mean? This is religion has no place there. So yeah, I know. I'm just you know, they really are kind of separate. I'm sad that religion makes religious people. It influences their politics. That makes me sad, because the church and the state have no business commingling, and Jesus knew that. Jesus talked about that at length. You know, the two are completely separate, and we have a lot of good Christians who will come on and comment. They're like, I'm a Christian, but we know that you need to keep church and state separate. They're both stronger when they're separate. Love your content. Been in 4 battle zones, all due to religious and cultural beliefs. Thanks, Christopher Clear. That's That's amazing. 4 battle zones is that's tough, man. And thanks to you for coming through it and being on the channel. Not going to thank you for your service. I had the veterans, like, I've always cringed at the compunction and the compulsion that we feel in America to thank every veteran all the time. I think that it makes those people uncomfortable, and it's a conformism that goes right along with the way that America is run now. And this people expect you're obligated on some level to thank every veteran every chance you get. It doesn't do anything for the veteran. It makes you feel better. It makes you feel like you've done something by compulsively thanking a veteran when they got trained and they signed up and they got paid for their job just like everybody. So to me, it diminishes every other job on the planet when we just we think we have to thank every veteran everywhere, and the media pays so much attention to thanking the veterans and all this fucking shit that goes on. It's yeah, I'm not an anti-military guy. We need a good military, and most military people are well educated, caring, awesome people who do a great job. So there's my general thanks to everybody out there who does their job well, including the military. But yeah, the guy who's been in 4 battle zones, he mentions that they were all due to religious conflicts, and there's people actually on here will actually say that more than one commenter has said that wars are never started by religion, and religion has never actually started a war. What? Who the fuck thinks that? I love how most conservative people love what the founding fathers said, except the church and state thing. Yeah, they don't know what the founding fathers said because they don't get educated as to it anymore. Places like Texas are just whitewashing over the founders' deism and what the founders actually had in mind for the country. They're just wiping that away and trying to pretend it was something completely different. So they don't even know. The people who think that don't even know. They don't know what the founding fathers thought. If the founding fathers saw evangelical Christians today, they would slap themselves in the fucking face. Full face slap. Whap. No, they would not recognize it. There were no evangelicals when the country was founded. The Puritans who struggled on the frontier, they might have been shitbird Puritan fucking, haters and people with their own prejudices and the will to treat others poorly. They weren't even the evangelicals. There wasn't enough time to do that bullshit. You needed to fucking grow the corn and try to survive on a new continent. There wasn't time to try to convince your neighbor to go to the same church that you went to. Are you kidding me? So yeah, the founding fathers would be disgusted. They'd be disgusted by Christian nationalism today. How do you deal with family who try to force their beliefs? I don't know. I don't have any family who tries to force their beliefs on me. All my cousins and my aunties and my uncles are religious, and they just blocked me on Facebook. So, and if I went there, they'd welcome me. We love each other. We have a great family. They just don't want me ranking on their stupid religious posts, and they don't want to see my atheism on Facebook. So I don't really talk to them much anymore. But so I don't really have much advice on dealing with families because it's not part of my world really. I never had to worry about that being shunned and so forth. How can a deity even be tri-omni? How can a deity exist? There's just no. Never mind being tri. The idea that there might be a deity is so far-fetched. Let alone an omniscient, omnibenevolent deity. That obviously doesn't exist. Keisha Hendricks, I almost hope Matthew McConaughey gets governor of Texas. Is he running? I love Matthew McConaughey, but he's not an atheist. He did a good job playing one in True Crime. The only good season, or the best season of True Crime with him and Woody, who were buddies. But yeah, I think that he's not an atheist. I think it made him. But I think he's not a dogmatic person. I think he's got his own God idea in his head, like a lot of his head. Then they would have the power, knowledge, and motive. We're going to open up the how can a deity even be tri-omni? If God is tri-omni, then they would have the power, knowledge, and motive to destroy evil, but they don't. Yeah, it's the Epicurean paradox. The question of evil is one that they can't answer, so they come up with the free will argument, which doesn't hold any water anyway. So yeah, there obviously isn't an omnibenevolent deity. If there's a deity out there, it's likely, in my opinion, to be not a deity, but just a terraforming alien who's moved the fuck on and doesn't give a shit. He probably didn't even know we exist, given the size of the universe that they created. Thoughts on current state of the RC Church affairs? Yeah, the RC Church needs to be shut down. How often does Sergeant Bake? How often does someone try to evangelize you online? All the time on TikTok. On the comment, it's like literally every day. What do you got?
I was gonna say every minute.
Yeah, literally every minute. Right? Yeah, on TikTok now that the videos all get enough views so that some troll sees it and tries to evangelize to us online. And even some people on the YouTube, which if you haven't subscribed yet, do that. Hit the camera icon on our bio and follow us on Instagram and YouTube. But yeah, the Roman Catholic Church is a disgusting hotbed of child abuse, and they need to have their doors shut as criminals until they can get their shit together. And people who defend the Catholic Church should have their faces slapped. And people who give their money to the Catholic Church, you are supporting the world's biggest child sex ring. So it's an embarrassment. You should be ashamed of yourself. The Catholic Church needs their doors closed by the government, like any criminal organization, until they can prove past tests. Have inspectors go in, and clean house on them until they can show that, they should not be allowed to operate. IMO. Bonnie Ott. Cortex Everywhere says, speak it. I do, man. I do. I don't have any problem speaking it. As people who know me know. EM Talia joined. If God is commonly seen as lawful good, that seems like the first part of a question. We'll see if the next part comes up. Missy F66 joined. Thanks for joining.
Here you got a question from Iron Butterflies. How far in the future will it take for religion to fade away?
What am I, God? I don't know the future. I can't tell the future. But I love Iron Butterflies. I'm just fucking with you. It's going to take a long time. We see the curve even in America, but the curve is behind. We're behind the curve. Islam is way behind the curve. They're growing, and they're trying to outbreed everybody else. So it's going to be long after any of us are alive, I think, until it fades away. I think its influence it will be, the fading of their influence is happening faster than I thought it would. So I think that they'll become a minority like they are in a lot of countries. If you take Iceland and Czechoslovakia and the Scandinavian countries as an example, I think that you can see that more educated countries, even in America, the numbers are dropping. The church is losing people by the millions, and that still leaves them with many, many, many millions. So they're not going to ever go away completely. There'll always be people who need that emotional crutch. I like to say that if God was proved tomorrow, or if she came down and said, "Here I am, praise me, and here's why," and if she proves herself, then all atheists would be like, all right, they might not worship her, but at least they wouldn't be atheists anymore. They'd believe the evidence, they'd believe the facts. But there will always be religious people who are the other way. If God could somehow be disproved, and they find the answers to everything in the universe, and the evidence shows up, so that the worldwide community is convinced that there is no God, there'll always be some assholes who just they want to believe so bad that they will believe. So I don't think religion will ever go away completely. I think they'll be reduced to cults, where they'll basically all be cult status and serious minorities. Are you as pro limerick as you are anti-church? I love limericks, man. You should know. You got to know. I do crazy about limericks. And if you like the limericks, you can go. I haven't looked at it in years, but it's still there. If you go to Tumblr, you can look for Dirty Dick's Limericks. One word, dirty, I think tumblr.com// Dirty Dick's Limericks. And there's 200 limericks that I've written. And I've spoken them too. You can hit the arrow and play the limerick so you can have it read so you can hear it correctly. Because if you read the limericks and you don't get the meter right, then they sound funny. But if you see, because sometimes I have to fuck with the meter a little bit, and you need to say the syllables in a certain way to have that meter come out right. If you hit the arrow, you can hear it in one of the 10 or 11 accents that I do the limericks in, and they're all dirty as fuck. If you don't like dirty toilet potty humor and titties and ass jokes, then they're not for you because they're disgusting. They're filthy, man. It's my, it's my Crumb. Is it RJ Robert Crumb, right? The guy who was a cartoonist. It was a great guy in real life, but like took out his wild perversions by writing these disgusting sexual cartoons. The limericks are my version of that.
So I just checked. If people are interested, your newest one is up, and that one already has 10,000 views.
Whoa! 10,000?
Yeah, within the last hour.
Are you kidding me?
No, I just
last hour? Get out of here. I'm so touched. Well, how does that happen, man? The last one, didn't get that much, and that was pretty disgusting. The last one's, I think some people were bummed out that I got on Buddha the way I did. Yeah. I only know the limericks about Nantucket. Yeah, everybody knows those ones, right? Old Nantucket. Unfortunately, thinking isn't allowed in religion. Yeah, that's true. Impeach God. Here, he's impeach God. He'd just get off. The Republican Senate would quit him. Dale Donaldson followed the host. Thank you, Dale. Love you. Robin Reyes 3 joined. Loman 1206 joined. Yeah, we did a series of anti-religious limericks, and we've got number 3 up now, which is anti-Catholic. I hope it's not being spun as homophobic, because it's certainly not. It's just a rhyme, right? And did you look at any comments on it?
I'm checking now.
Keisha, Cape Fearboy joined. Spank Gaming joined. Spank Gaming, those are fun games, the spanking games. I like to play those ones sometimes. Letting it all out 2021. Good night. Keep pounding. Thanks, Sergeant Bake. Take it easy, man. Smoke one for me, my buddy. Trip 709, some letters joined. Brian Anomalous, somebody that went by. Darcy Co joined. Tim Bowes 32 joined. Scal Cal joined. Hoya Lawaya 03 joined. Yocasta something joined. Shit, wow, man, look at all these people joining. Kank 34, Harley 2K04, Moving Dude joined. Awesome.
Yeah, they look all positive. Here's one that says, "How does TikTok do this? I've never told it about my twin love of naughty limericks and anti-religious humor." That was a comment.
Sweet.
So
sweet.
Yeah, looks like some good ones.
Yeah, and it got on his page. I don't know. Maybe you just hit the algorithm right. You put Catholicism on it. That probably got a lot of those.
Yeah. We also did the thing that someone else mentioned where they literally post it right before we went live. So maybe that helped.
Okay, maybe, yeah.
We'll try that again.
Maybe that's a tactic. Yeah, let's try to do that all the time. What is your opinion? Asks The Only Lane. I didn't see you join, baby. Love you so much. What is your opinion on the threat of karma? I haven't been threatened by karma. What's that mean? Like maybe karma is real and what goes around comes around? I mean, I try to be good to people, I make fun and I generalize for my comedy, but you treat people right, and if you think karma is real, then you shouldn't have any reason to fear karma. I think karma is just coincidence, right? When what goes around comes around, and it really does. Everybody's got that instinct that that guy got what he had coming to him, but there's a million times when people don't get what they have coming to them too. I think so. Karma just is unprovable as any kind of supernatural phenomena. Thoughts on Joe Biden and Trump? I think Joe Biden's a career politician and a wimp and a spineless sack of shit who is so much better than the piece of shit that went before him that I'd vote for him 10 times again before I voted for Agent Orange, literally the Antichrist. All those Christians who voted for Trump, didn't they read Revelation where it said that the Antichrist, the beast himself, would come disguised as a man of God? What was Trump if nothing but a man disguised as a man of God? He's so obviously an atheist who doesn't give a shit about God or Christian doctrine or treating people in a Christian way. Doesn't know anything about it, but he promoted the policies that demographic wanted, and so they were able to look past his behavior and vote for him. But they seem to forget their own prophecy when they embrace a guy who's so clearly more like the Antichrist than he is like the Christ. So yeah, that's what I think about Joe Biden and Trump. I want someone young. I want someone with ideas. I want someone who represents a majority of people, and I want someone who doesn't use religion as a cudgel against us. And I think Biden's a harmless dude. I can't wait to see if anything comes out of this the summit with the shitbird Putin. But you know, I think it, you know, I'm not into this nationalism, this protectionism, this isolationism, this fascism. That, I mean, we are a global community now, and we're going to continue to be more and more. And I don't get this fucking, you know, tightening up the fences and let's just take care of America. What are you talking about? All that fucking is going to do is end up fucking everybody up. Cory Booker. Cory Booker, black politician. Is that who Cory Booker is? AOC. You like AOC? I like AOC. I think she's got balls. I'm not sure I'm completely on board with every idea that the progressives have, but it's a damn sight better than you know, the anti-vaxxers and the fucking conspiracy theorist, God-fearing idiot crowd that stormed the Capitol for that fucking bizarre fat comb-over piece of fucking shit that we just got rid of. Rosie Morris 1 joined. Thank you. What was your journey to atheism? My journey to atheism began when I was 16 and John Lennon was shot dead for no real reason whatsoever. And then a bunch of evangelicals came to my church and tried to preach that he was going to hell. And I'm like, what? Of all the people that can reasonably be sent to hell, wasn't going to be that dude, you know, who basically preached peace and love. Even if he was a bit of a dick, you know, in his real life, which I think is undisputed. But I couldn't get my head around that. And I'm like, you know, no loving God. And that was just the beginning of the end of my belief in Christian dogma. And then I went to college and, you know, I saw a Pentecostal church for the first time ever when I went to a anti-rock and roll preach show that they were advertising on campus. And we all thought that would be funny to go see this asshole, you know, talk his shit about how evil Santana was, of all the fucking demonic bands to bring up. He like brought up a Santana album and was showing the symbology. And it was all this fucking shit talk. And we were just like, really? This is what's going on? And these people in the audience like, dirty, unwashed hillbillies, basically, who had no money, getting taken advantage of by a preacher with $1,000 suit on and in a band behind him. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with religion. If this is what's out there, because I wasn't raised like that. My church was cool and liberal, and I never had religious trauma. I had a good, you know, a decent upbringing in my church. So I hadn't seen that kind of fundamentalism, weird, creepy, taking advantage of poor people church. So that made me know that Christianity and Christian dogma in general was dead to me. It was dead to me. And then I had a year or two where I was sort of waffled between Unitarianism and just some sort of personal spirituality. I figured like my grandpa could still see me and maybe we learned the truth of the universe when we died. I had like a 2-year run with that kind of shit. And then I was like, what? No, none of that's real. So by the time I was 21, I was out completely and on to full-time partying. I said full-time partying. AOC strikes me as too much about AOC. Yeah, maybe. Warren more likely to succeed rather than alienate. Yeah, I don't know. Warren rubs me the wrong way too. Not necessarily anything about her policies. But the whole, you know, Native American thing that she got busted out on. But I think a lot of politicians are more about themselves. I don't think that's unique. I think you have to have a little bit of that in you to be a successful politician. Listen to Booker questioning Kavanaugh during Senate hearings for some greatness. Yeah, everybody who questioned Kavanaugh was great. That dude's a living piece of shit. Beer drinking fuck. I grew up a missionary kid overseas and walked away from all of it about 5 years ago. Good for you, man. Missionary work is the new colonialism, isn't it? Missionary work's disgusting. And an example of the intolerance of a supposedly tolerant religion. If Christianity's tolerant, why doesn't it tolerate other religions? It doesn't. It tries to convert them to their God, thereby exposing themselves as intolerant on a basic level. Edward Anglia. Thanks for joining, buddy.
Zelder P64 says, apparently there are atheist channels being removed for no reason from TikTok. Yeah,
I feel like I'm on borrowed time. Are you backing up all our videos, Jay? We need to start backing up all the videos for the day.
Actually, I had tried, and when I do that, the audio's off sync because we were trying to put them up on YouTube, but I don't know if it's. I'm going to play around with some different things to see if I can fix that because I was doing it manually and it was just taking too much time where I had to like move the audio for every video. It was driving.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of atheists have that story on TikTok where their shit's getting taken down, but some of them don't. You know, I don't. My girl, I blame Bill. I don't think she's gotten removed, right? I think once you get targeted by one of these groups like Bearded Skeptic, he's on their radar now, and so they just keep coming back to it. I think, and I think if you're careful and you tag your shit right and you don't try to invite, like I learned my lesson. Why am I going to hashtag Muhammad? And, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll talk all kinds of shit about Muhammad because who cares? But why do you want to invite that kind of hate and that kind of raging, rampant offendedness by snowflakes who can't take the least fucking criticism of their fake ass prophet? It's so silly. And Buddhists on the YouTube channel, have you seen that, Jay? On the YouTube channel, like people are like, we did a video about the rape that goes on in Buddhist monasteries. It's like thigh rape is a thing. If you grow up in a Buddhist monastery, you take your chances with those people. And this is not something that I made up. In general, I don't have anything against Buddhists. And I'm the first one to say that kind of abuse of children takes place in every religion, in every demographic of life, in everything where there are children, there is people who abuse the children. So I'm not singling out Buddhists. We happened to do a show back in the day where I interviewed, I want to say her name is Mary Finnegan, and puts me 1 degree from David Bowie. How cool is that? She dated David Bowie in the late 60s, right before he got famous. Yeah. And she's a journalist and a great person. And she lives in the UK. And she is investigating this phenomenon in Buddhist temples. And there are documented cases and people who have testified and come out. And this is what happened to me. It's not real. And people and the Buddhists on the YouTube channel are like, why are you picking on our religion with these lies? Why are these unsubstantiated lies? And you're just shit talking and you're trying to like hate on a religion. No. Of all the big religions, Buddhism is probably the coolest and probably my favorite. It doesn't mean that this shit doesn't happen. But yet you say something about it and whoa, their heads blow off because that couldn't be going on.
The Dalai Lama has said on television that he says we found, basically saying that they knew about it.
Of course they know about it. I'm not sure who's done anything about it.
No.
And that and these demagogues who start Buddhist centers, you know what I mean, around the country. They'll be in California, they'll open a Buddhist center, and it'll end up being a cult leader basically who takes advantage of congregants and ends up abusing people through their position of authority and abusing the trust that they've gained from congregants, members of that Buddhist center. And this is this happens. This is a documented thing, and a lot of these people are not. They're just as bad as televangelists and Catholic priests. They're just they're having funky, dirty, weird, inappropriate sex and abusing their position of authority and taking advantage of people who look up to them. So it happens in Buddhism just like it happens in other things. And who hates fucking I don't have a hard time trusting anybody anymore who wants to work with children. Cub Scout leaders, Boy Scout leaders, gymnastics coaches, Sunday school teachers, youth pastors, anybody who wants Little League coaches, anybody who wants to be around a group of other people's kids. I immediately the bells go off and I'm like, yeah, creepo. The whole Sandusky thing at Penn State, why Penn State's playing football again, I have no fucking idea. They should have fucking disbanded those motherfuckers for all of that shit. And fuck Joe Paterno. My family's from Western Pennsylvania. They worship Joe Paterno. My grandma and grandpa worship Joe Paterno like he was a fucking saint. And it turns out he knew that whole time. So that whole thing creeps me out. Anybody who's got that going on where that they want their avocation or their vocation to be around other people's kids all the fucking time. Right away the radars, the hair on the back of my neck, which is the only place I have hair anymore, is standing right up. Sorry, I haven't even looked at a question or a comment in a while, so apologize if I'm missing some stuff that's going by. Let me look at the things here. That man Trump is pure evil. Yeah, he's disgusting. Love me or suffer forever, but it's your choice. So yeah, that's the whole free will thing. Zelda P64 went crazy with some questions on here. Isn't Adam and Eve a copy of Lif and Lifrasir? Yeah, is that Norse? I'm not. We took basic Norse mythology, and I haven't studied it. We got to look into that because people ask us, "What do you think about Norse paganism?" Which I love. I mean, but I'm a little bit undereducated on the fineries. But Adam and Eve are definitely a copy of a lot of shit. They're a copy of the Enuma Elish and the way that the world was created. The Jewish scribes just worked it around for their needs. So yeah, everything in the Old Testament is a copy of older myths. We know this. It's not a secret anymore. I think that's pretty much all of them. On the Q&A. Thanks for the followers. Hamburgers or tacos? Oh, I love them both, my friend. There's nothing like a good taco. And I came up from the country where there were no Mexicans. And so until I got to Chicago and enjoyed a real taqueria, I didn't know what a good taco was. I had some Taco Bell in college. We didn't even have Taco Bell back east where I grew up. But when I got to the Midwest, we had Taco Bell in college. And I'm like, I never even had a real taco until after college. I got to Chicago. And then I was like, what the actual fuck? Tacos are awesome. Authentic tacos are awesome. Crunchy tacos full of ground beef shit. Not so much, man. Once in a while, if I make them at home, the kids like them, so I'll make them at home, and they're not bad if you make them homemade. But I'm not a fan of picadillo. I'd much rather have a nice al pastor or carnitas taco or carne asada. But I like other stuff. I don't get tacos a lot anymore because I like the other stuff that they have at the taco joint. But there's nothing like a good hamburger. It's got to be a cheeseburger. I don't do the dry hamburger thing, and it's got to be medium rare at the most. If this doesn't have blood dripping down my chin, you can keep your fucking burger
with extra ketchup.
Yeah. You know what? If a burger has like everything that it should have, then a little bit of ketchup in that mix is okay with me. But to eat like a picnic burger with just ketchup and mustard on it, that's for fucking 10-year-olds. Metallica FCC authentic all the way. Yeah, absolutely, man. But I like a big burrito with grease dripping out the fucking bottom of it, or a torta, una torta de milanesa de res con aguacate. That shit's good. Based on what we'd see, I'd say Adam and Eve were based in Homer and Mark Simpson.
Mark Simpson, yeah.
Homer. That would be Homo and Mark Simpson. Happy Pride Month again, everybody. It's June. We got to say it every few minutes. No ketchup, only mustard. Yeah, when I go to there's a local greasy spoon style diner. Wisconsin has a lot of drive-ins still, like the Happy Days American Graffiti Day, where you drive in and the girl comes out and walks out there, and you can eat with the tray hanging on your window as it's partially rolled up. That still happens in Wisconsin. Not a lot of other places in the country have a lot of that. And they have the little thin burgers that you're not going to get that medium rare, and that's fine. They're greasy, so they're good. But you get a double burger like that, and they only serve it with like ketchup, mustard, and pickles. Maybe diced onions. Then I'm ordering it with no ketchup. Absolutely. Favorite breakfast food? I don't know. I'm a breakfast lover. I don't really have a favorite. I go between eggs over medium with sausage and hash browns and an English muffin. I like that. To yogurt and granola, or just fresh fruit, or cereal. I don't really have a favorite. I love pancakes. Waffles are hard to make at home compared to pancakes, but I know the pancake batter recipe from scratch in my head. I can do it without looking at the book anymore because I love making pancakes. Put a bunch of butter on them. Real maple syrup only. If you eat like log cabins maple syrup, you ought to have your fucking head slapped. That shit's disgusting. All of that corn syrup fucking based fake ass syrup. Maple syrup's a little more expensive, but if you're gonna eat that way, then you should suck it up and pay for real maple syrup. There's nothing like it. And I despise the whole corn syrup thing. It's making everybody cancerous and diabetic in the country. We have dogs inside here in Ohio. Not sure what that means. Question for theists. Wow. Dog and suds. Yeah, there's one of those in Illinois, and that's good. Yeah, and it's still a drive-in, right? They'll walk out and give it to you. Yeah, dog and suds. There is one not too far from here that I stop at in Richmond, Illinois. Nice little town. Richmond, real tomato ketchup, Eddie. Yeah, sorry, man. Ketchup can fucking fuck off. How can free will and fate, God's plans, both? Yeah, they can't. There is no free will anyway. Inky Spitfire, Mrs. Donna Catilla 659. Thanks for the syrup tip. Says Metallica FCC. You are welcome, buddy. This is the home of maple syrup. I'm not sure if Europe even has any good maple syrup, but we have the sugar maples here in Canada in the eastern forests of the north, the boreal forest, which of course stretched from Maine to western Pennsylvania, and all of Canada, as far as I can tell. That's where maple syrup comes from. Yeah, baby. I'm hungry too, because I don't eat until after the Wednesday night live that we do, and then I go in the old homestead and make me a bunch of dinner, and I go to bed fat. Because that's not really the way to eat, but I can't help it. I eat like a Spaniard, Supper time comes at about 10 o'clock at night, and lunch maybe 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Breakfast, I can't eat right when I get up. But now's the time of year for fresh fruit in our part of the world. Strawberries are in season. The black cherries are in season. The peaches are coming through. The black plums. All that shit is priceless, man. You got to eat that shit. Catilla follows. Thanks for the follow. But I have nothing wrong with gay and lesbian. I hope not. Gay and lesbian, they're awesome. Every fucking last one of them. Rosemary Muma 72 joined. So you're saying I should drive up there and harvest some sap to make my own syrup? You don't have to do that. You can buy it in fine grocery retailers everywhere. It is expensive though. I'll grant you that. But I grew up in New England, so we were, everybody was making maple syrup. My uncle had a syrup business for a while. It's not hard, it's a lot of work.
Slow process, so it's worth the money.
It's a little bit slow process, yeah. That's why it's expensive. Loretta, thanks. I didn't see your last name. Thanks for joining. No name chap. Thanks for joining. We're in New England, Connecticut. That's right. Closer to Boston than New York. You say Connecticut, people think bedroom community for New York. And I grew up in the country, man. We had some neighbors with sawdust floors, just like every fucking redneck state, because every state has redneck parts. Believe it. There's not one state that doesn't have country ass fucks in it, because this is America. So yeah, I grew up close. I was a Boston guy because I grew up literally in a part of Connecticut where you could throw a rock to the north, you'd hit Massachusetts. You throw a rock to the east, you hit Rhode Island. That's where I grew up, in that corner. Very rural. 900 people in my town growing up. Yeah, Brittany, we know. I say Brittany. I'm sorry because I read it fast. Brittany, the science guy. Thanks for joining, baby. We love Brittany. If you haven't followed her, you're missing out. Follow Brittany. She dances a lot in her vids, man. It's cool. We know you make syrup up there. You got that goddamn maple leaf on your flag. A proud Canadian is Brittany, the science guy. Yeah, and not gonna pretend that my syrup is better than Canadian syrup, because that would just be silly, Canada, the home of maple syrup. Are you a fan of Ricky Gervais? Yeah. Love his super crooked teeth. They make mine seem straight. But he's a British guy, right? Oh, British tooth joke. Yeah, love Ricky Gervais. Yeah, he's a sharp customer, and not sure why he gets hate from some atheists. So he's not very PC, as a lot of comedians aren't. But yeah, his The Invention of Lying, was that his religious movie? That's pretty good too, man. Love Jennifer Garner, big fan. But if you haven't seen that, it's worth watching that too. Brother lives in Vernon, Connecticut. All right. Shout out for Vernon. Yeah, Connecticut's beautiful. It really is. You can call me Brittany too. Oh yeah, that is because you're Brit. Nah, it's Brittany. All right. Brittany sounds like an American hillbilly to me. No offense to the name Brittany, but it's like one of those names, right? They make fun of you. Brittany, Tiffany, Tiffany Lynn. That's a Seth. What's his name? The guy who did what's the TV show, Jay?
Are you talking about Seth MacFarlane?
Yeah, Seth MacFarlane. Yeah, he did a whole bit, right, in the movie Ted, right, with Mark, where they're sitting and they're making fun of all the Tammy.
I haven't seen Ted yet. That's on my list though.
What? Yeah. It's pretty funny. And it's too long. It's like, wrap it up already. Comedies like that, 90 minutes max. It does not need to go on. Nobody needs 2.5 hours of fucking Marky Mark. He's not that good. But the shit was funny. Keisha, did you pick up a British accent naturally while you lived there? You talking to me? Yeah. When I lived in London, yeah, I ended up talking like this. Yeah, everyone around me sort of had that suburban London accent. Sounded a bit like Pete Townsend, coming from White City, Shepherd's Bush area. Yeah, that's Brittany Lynn. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I did. Yeah. I love it. I love living in England. I'll miss it.
Jacob Savage, it's coffee or tea or neither.
I switched to tea because I love coffee, and a coffee is just, it's so much more complex than tea. And that's not to get down on tea. I know a lot of people are like, tea is so much better than, it's really not. Coffee is like, good coffee is like good whiskey or good wine, where it has a top and a middle and a finish and a complexity that tea can't compare with. But I love tea too. And I finally had to give up coffee because it was a rotten hole in my stomach. I was like a black coffee until noon kind of guy for a long time. And I feel better. Now that I've given up coffee for tea, any kind of tea, herbal tea. I don't like the tannins in straight black tea. I can't drink a lot of Earl Grey. I actually vomit sometimes because of the tannins are so strong. Unless I have a lot of milk and cream in it. But yeah, I love them both. Love caffeine, big fan. Plot twist: God has died, and Satan and Jesus are just his authors. And while no offense to people with, God has DID. What's DID? You know what that is, Jay?
No.
It's something disorder. I'm guessing the final D stands for disorder.
Oh, it's dissociate identity disorder.
Oh, dissociative identity disorder. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Dunkin', baby. America runs on Dunkin'. But yeah, I actually like Dunkin' coffee better than Starbucks coffee. Starbucks coffee sucks. It's over roasted and burnt. And people who line up like sheep to pay for Starbucks make me laugh every time I drive by those places. You got to watch out. It's a traffic hazard in this town. The line to get your Starbucks, the line of sheep to get in the Starbucks line and pay like $6.74 for like this much coffee with like this much foam and sweetener and flavor and sugar and fucking cream in it. It's fucking stupid. People are paying like 7 times more for that than they would for gas if you do the math on the ounces. What we actually pay for gas. If you're like, oh my God, gas is up to $3 a gallon, and then they're in line for $7 fucking coffee where they get like 5 ounces of fucking actual liquid. It's people are so fucking stupid here. Dana J 628. Thanks for joining. Because unlike God, they actually exist. Yeah. Ever been to Allies? No, I don't. Or is that Allies? Allies Donuts. I prefer Axis Donuts. There's Italians and Germans and Japs, Japanese. Sorry, didn't mean to slander anybody. They had good donuts. No, Allie's Donuts, don't know what that is. We have a local donut place though called CJ's in Zion, Illinois. That's fucking incredible. They still make like Dunkin' went down to shitter, right? Their donuts aren't even made at the shop anymore. They make them in like someone's garage at a central location, and then put them in a truck and get them around stale. To where people are, because donuts are off the list, right? That's bad for you. But coffee with 15 scoops of sugar in it, that's okay, But yeah, donuts are off Americans' list. They're not as popular as they used to be. That's why Dunkin's not Dunkin' Donuts anymore. It's just Dunkin'. They're like changing the whole marketing because of that. So yeah, good donuts. That's a weakness. And this place has fucking good donuts. If you ever get to Zion, Illinois. And I don't recommend it otherwise because it's just full of, as you would imagine, it's called Zion. It's just full of religious twits. But they do have an awesome old school donut joint where old boys are just sitting at the counter having their freaking black coffee that they made there out of an industrial fucking coffee mix that's just fine, and the best donuts on the planet. We have a place called Hertz Donuts. Hertz Donuts, yeah, where you're a kid, right? Pang, Hertz Donut. Everybody played that joke, right? That's what that means. That's a good name for a donut joint. Frankensteiny. Frankensteiny. I love it. Crab like 108. Jacques Stanley. Thanks for joining. Did you get permission to stay up late tonight, Jay?
No, I should have jumped off, but I'll wait till 10.
Yeah. 10's about what we can handle. So you got about 10 more minutes, and then I'm gonna go.
We were at 40 people. That's why I was like, I'm just gonna stick it out.
Yeah, no, it looks like it's been a great night. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the gifts. If I missed any gifts going by, I don't mean to slight anybody.
You got another psychic question. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Do you first give me psychic? How is that possible? Rory 2000. No, I don't think so. All of the evidence for that is anecdotal. There's no documented evidence of psychic abilities or psychic people. I'm not to say that it couldn't happen. I guess I got to give it up to the possibility, because I do think there's ways in which our minds can work that we don't understand, that we haven't been able to tap into. It's pretty much known that we only use like 20% of our brain anyway. But I think that there's any of that actually happens, there's going to be a scientific explanation for it. So when it comes around, I'll be happy to examine the evidence. Until then, psychics are generally con men, mentalists, people who are reading the room and taking advantage.
This is a little off topic, but Elon Musk is talking about it being possible when not psychic, but something similar when they finish the Neuralink, where people will be able to talk without moving because they'll just be able to Bluetooth communicate to each other. Like that's his plan. First, it's going to be like dealing with brain injuries and stuff like that, but that's sort of the next phase.
But that's technology, right?
Yeah, that's not psychic, but it made me think of that. How that I mean, it's literally using Bluetooth, and we don't have that capability. We don't have that ability in our heads. So, but that idea of science being able to create that's kind of exciting to me.
Yeah. What about psychics who find lost kids? What about travelers and dream walkers? Yeah, I don't know. One day when there's a peer-reviewed study that people can examine the evidence, and as far as I know, until that happens, it's all anecdotal and coincidental. But I've been wrong before. You know what I mean? So,
well, my understanding with the psychics who find kids, a lot of times it's basically a guessing game. I forget what the term is, where, it's like you're going to find the body near water. You're going to find like they have this list, and basically they ignore all the wrongs and they take all the rights. The
right. I mean, James Randi made a career out of debunking psychics, a career, and the $1 million challenge from the Randi Foundation is still out there, and no one's ever been able to claim it. So, I heard the 20% brain thing was just what we use for conscious thought. The rest is motor function. We need 80% of our brains for motor function. Maybe. I'm not a brain physiologist. I'm a traveler who got freaked out because you had gone to a place I'd never gone before, and on a recent trip I drove through that exact place. Yeah. Okay. I believe you. I mean, I've experienced deja vu too, and I can't explain it. Maybe it's a glitch in the matrix. Sorry for bad punctuation. That's all right, counter evangelist, and I'm sorry for being a grammar Nazi, but I can't help myself. Thank God my son survived the surgery. Thank God, yeah. Don't you love people who thank God after the surgeon does something to save you? I'd be offended if I was a surgeon and I'd got out of a 20-hour surgery and someone said thank God. I'd slap him right in the fucking head, charge him extra, put the fucking God tax right on there. The guy who performed the surgery after years of medical study, angry, yeah, for sure. That's what I mean. Throat punch. Be like, what? I should have let God do that, and then you could thank him for your kid being dead. 62 PN Witch join. Joseph Coakley join. Law, you're still on here. Octopus on the Roof, Carly, you're back. Yeah, we go for like 2 hours, and it's like as long as there's people bringing up shit to talk about, I can talk, and the time goes by. It's unbelievable, and I really appreciate everybody for being here and making that possible. We could not do it without you, and I'm so grateful that people are interested enough to even join it all. Never mind stay and hang out and ask questions. So love you all so much. Jet Engine Man, glitch in the matrix. I like it. Yeah, thanks, man. I like it. FCC. Thanks for being here still. Matt in the Hat, what's up, buddy? I didn't see you before. You've been on for a long. Family members always tell me I should be thankful for my talent in art. I did that myself, not God. Yeah, people, you have a gift, son. Your voice is a gift from God. Really? I didn't get a gift receipt. If some of the gifts I had are gifts from God, I'd like to take them back for some other gifts that I could use more. But yeah, that always cracked me up too. Gifts, yeah. Everybody has their gift. Everybody has something that they're divine at. People you can say Asperger's anymore because people you can't say Asperger's anymore because reasons. You can't say Asperger's.
Sort of. The doctor was a Nazi.
Shenanigan. Oh, Asperger was a Nazi, so you can't bring up.
Well, first of all, they put it all under autism spectrum disorder.
Shout out to you, Shenanigans. I love that name. Sorry, go ahead.
They put it all under autism spectrum disorder or just autism as opposed to sort of giving it a separate category. And then they also the issue with saying his name is that he was a Nazi. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you can't separate the fact that the guy was a Nazi from his accomplishments. I have trouble with that,
Yeah.
I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they're gonna like the guy if he'd invented the medicine that saved thousands and thousands of lives. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
okay, everybody's an asshole somehow. I mean, Nazis, yeah, pretty bad. But I'm not. That whole PC thing kills me. I have finals tomorrow, but instead of sleeping, I'm chilling here with you guys. Jacob Savage, go to bed, dude. We're gonna get off in a few minutes, so you can go study a little bit and pass your finals, man. We don't want you. Failing because of the Atheist Underground. We're glad you're here. Gravelheart, my favorite Joker. Oh, that's rough, man. That's rough. My favorite Joker. Oh boy, who's your favorite Joker, Jay? I mean, I'm old enough to remember.
I've missed half of them, so
I'll go right with Cesar Romero. How about that? From the friggin' slapstick '60s TV show, one of the original Jokers. I liked the Heath Ledger, R.I.P. Heath Ledger Joker, and I liked Jack Nicholson was a cartoony, suitable Tim Burton Joker from the '80s. But favorite, that's tough. Yeah, maybe Heath. That was pretty fucking good. Those ones are good Batmans. I like those. But they're all different. I have to get even Walking Penis, who I fucking hate. Somebody put a question up on TikTok, and we're asking who's a movie star that you just hate right out of the box, and you can't even watch their movies. For me, it's Walking Penis, and I mean Joaquin Phoenix is who I'm talking about. I call him Walking Penis because I just fucking can't stand the guy, and he's not even a bad actor. I just something about it makes me itchy. Ever since he won an Oscar for the shittiest, stagey, fake ass British accent that he used in Gladiator, I'm like, Hollywood somehow they love the guy too much. They just give him too much credit. He's not as good as people think he is. He was brutal in the stupid, awful M. Night Shyamalan Signs movie, one of the worst movies ever made. Really, Who's That River was so good. Yeah, River Phoenix was good. He was good. That we miss River Phoenix. R.I.P. Drugs kill. But yeah, little brother Walking Penis. Can't stand it. But even him, that Joker was good. I got to give it up. That was a good turn as the Joker. Because now to do the Joker, it's like, what are you gonna do? Even Jared Leto, a well-known dick and douchebag, his Joker was good too. But I guess I gotta give it up to Heath. I gotta give it up to Heath or Cesar Romero. Opposite ends of the spectrum, slapstick and like really dark and weird.
Talking about the Phoenixes, they grew up in the Children of God cult.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they were cultists, and I think a little bit of that stays with Old Boy, don't you?
Yeah, well, they talked to. I think I can't remember who the interview was, but they kind of implied too. I think at one point they were begging on the street, and they're kind of talking about that. How do they all become entertainers and sort of like developing this sort of skill off of survival as children? I have to find it because it was interesting, but just sort of, it's very hypothetical, but yeah, how that stuff sort of you decide who you're going to be and how you're going to act, based off of those experiences.
Yeah. Jarrett Pierce asks, do I believe in UFOs? Well, yeah, I believe in them, and there's obviously UFOs. People have taken. We just don't know what they are. They're likely not aliens. So and I believe in aliens too. The universe is just too big, but they're not visiting us. And if I'm proven wrong, but with some evidence, then I'll be the first one to admit it. But it's unlikely that any aliens in the universe have evolved in a universe that's the same age everywhere. If Earth is an example, and we've evolved to this point after this much time, it's highly unlikely that any other life form anywhere has had the time to evolve to a point past us where they could have the kind of technology to travel at the speeds necessary to cover those distances to visit us. So that's all just crap. I'm interested to see what comes of the recent revelations and the people who are like, they're going to declassify that shit. That would be cool, man. Yeah, Tom Waits might be an alien. Tom Waits cool. If you don't know Tom Waits and you haven't listened to Tom Waits music, there's one for you. Non-crazy cat lady. Listen to Small Change by Tom Waits. The album Small Change by Tom Waits. What a great artist. But yeah, he might be an alien. You're not wrong, Matt in the Hat. Kilroy 1941. Go Kilroy. You're getting in on the ass end here. The old pipes are getting scratchy. I didn't bring a friggin' water with me even. What am I thinking, man? I talked for 2 fucking hours. You know Tom Waits. Good deal. Good deal. Yeah. I saw him in London at the Orpheum. It was fucking fantastic. One of the best shows I've ever saw. Got the Dude Abides shirt on. Didn't mention that. Got the Dude Abides. Wait. There you go. Dude Abides. I can see it, right?
I can see it on YouTube. I don't know. I can't see the TikTok.
I'm considering becoming a dudist at non-crazy cat ladies recommendation. You can be a dudist priest online for no money. I love the Dude. Everybody loves the Dude, man. If you haven't watched The Big Lebowski, get with the fucking program, man, and watch The Big Lebowski. Maybe the best cult movie ever. Is it back on Netflix? Sweet. I was recently with a couple people who never saw it, if you can believe that, and we watched it again, and you just see people's eyes fucking be like, the Coen brothers are fucking great, man. Onyx Zephyrus joined. Thanks for joining. Dr. Garby joined, but we are winding down. It's already 10:04. Plug the merchandise on cafepress.com, Atheist Underground gear. You can get the What's Missing Atheism He Is t-shirt that I invented there, plus Atheist Underground gear with the logo on it. Find us on YouTube and subscribe. And we are on the old school social media if you look for us on the Instagram, and I promise to put more content up on the Instagram. Facebook, we're there, because we could put local events up and stuff, but Facebook and Twitter both kind of moribund at this point. There's a vocab word for you, moribund. The human mind and become immortal. Sorry. Another question. I'll look at that if I can get what happens to religion when we manage to upload the human mind and become immortal? Oh yeah, right. Then AI might kill religion, just like they say that aliens showing up might kill religion, might kill fundamental religion, might kill the idea that we were created, special on this planet. That might finish those dudes. I doubt it'll kill religion altogether, though. Hammerhead 2, thanks for the follow. Thanks for the plug. It is on our bio. Non-crazy cat lady says the link to the gear is on the bio. And we started a Discord for all you cool kids. And it's getting a little play. You guys need to help me out more, Jay and Hub, Atheist Hub, if he's out there.
I still haven't figured it out.
I put my notifications up, and I still don't you got to check it every day to see the actual conversation. If someone sends me a message or something happens, I do get a notification, but it's actually gotten some, there's some people on it, man. There's been some action on there. But yeah, I don't really get the whole Discord thing. It's a big program. It seems like to me, that's got a lot of capability and it looks pretty cool too. But you can get on our Discord. We have a server that we started with our guy, the Atheist Hub. If you haven't followed the Atheist Hub, follow him. And what else? Twitch? Am I on Twitch?
No, yeah, I do want to set up a Twitch at some point.
I have a Twitch. But yeah, I don't even know what Twitch is. It sounds.
No, it's another video platform. So it's like
Twitch, doesn't it? It's Twitch. It's another video platform. No, we'll get there. Right now, we're having trouble keeping up with TikTok. I got questions in the Q&A backed up for months, 50, 60 questions that I got to get to, and keep them coming. I will get to you. Don't leave TikTok before you get your answer, because if it's on there and it's not super stupid, I will get around to answering it. That's where we get most of the ideas for the videos, is on the Q&A from the Q&A thing. So don't give up, because I will get to you. I try to do them in order of the date that they got on there, and I'm like 2 months behind. So sorry about that. But we do try to get out as many videos as we can. Follow my guy Atheist Animated. And thank you. Yes, we're on YouTube. Thank you for answering that. And the podcast is called Atheist Underground. And I do have an interview with an astronomer on the Big Bang that I'm editing now. So there will be another podcast coming sooner than later. I can't get them out very fast just because I'm just so fucking busy right now. And mostly thanks to you all on TikTok for keeping me busy. That I just don't have the evenings to spend, sitting in front of the editor and editing my podcast the way I like it. Thank you, Tay Lauren Wham. Love my content. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to cut it out now and go and get some eats and watch Loki. Huh? Who's excited that Loki is got his own TV show now? It was pretty cool. Watched the debut last week, and there should be another one waiting for me when I go inside, along with The Handmaid's Tale, the creepy, scary tale of what it would be like if the Christian right ends up taking over and getting their way. And that's what they want. They want to have a society like The Handmaid's Tale, where husbands can cut off their wives' fingers for reading. That's right. So do your part. And part of what you're doing by being with us right now is doing your part. For atheism, be an atheist activist, start an atheist group, join an atheist group, do what you can to come out. And I'm sorry if your parents hate you forever, but you need to do it. We need to do what our gay friends did and come all out so that we can all be accepted and not be shunned and demonized and shoved into a corner and marginalized and completely unrepresented in government here in these United States of Evangelica. That's all for tonight. Love you all. I would climb through the camera and make love to every one of you if I could. Take it easy, everybody. We'll see you later on. Bye now. Turning this off. All right, man.